He film opens in 1989, introducing us to Anthony Swofford, or Swoff, whose father fought in the earlier Vietnam War. Swoff reflects on the lasting impact of a soldier's experience, suggesting that a soldier's hands will always remember the feel of a weapon, no matter where life takes them. As Swofford and his fellow recruits line up, a drill instructor named Fitch harshly criticizes Swoff's father, labeling his service in the U.S. Army as shameful. In a scene reminiscent of Full Metal Jacket, Swoff endures harsh treatment from a drill instructor during his time at Marine Corps boot camp, leading him to question his choice to enlist. Upon arriving at Camp Pendleton after completing basic training, Swoff finds himself lost in thought, gazing at a photo of his girlfriend. He is greeted by a receiving officer who asks about his name, noting that Swoff's great-grandfather had also served at the same camp in the 19th century. Swoff is assigned to Golf Company, which the officer describes as filled with less than bright individuals. Soon after, the senior Marines play a cruel prank on him, tying him to his bed and branding him with the letters USMC, using a hot iron, a common rite of passage among Marines. The sight of the iron makes him faint. When he regains consciousness, Swoff is relieved to find that the senior Marines have swapped the hot iron for a cool one later that night. He is then greeted by Troy, who coldly welcomes him with the phrase, "Welcome to the suck." Swofford encounters the friendly Staff Sergeant Sykes, a seasoned Marine Corps veteran, who invites him to join the Scout Sniper training, previously known as the Surveillance and Target Acquisition course, while they are in the clinic's restroom. Swofford, feeling unwell, has been confined to the bathroom for quite some time. After Sykes leaves, Swofford receives orders to report for training on Monday. Later that day, Swofford finds himself late for a bugle audition with Staff Sergeant Sykes at 0600. To his surprise, Sykes playfully instructs him to perform using only his mouth. Once again, Swofford feels taken advantage of in this situation. The intense Corps training begins for him and the other recruits, who spend countless hours running, hiding in the and honing their sniper skills. After enduring grueling sessions that lead to the tragic death of a fellow recruit, Swofford earns a promotion to sniper, with Troy assigned as his spotter. The newly promoted recruits receive guidance on how to take a rifle pledge. Shortly thereafter, Iraq invades Kuwait, prompting Swofford's battalion to be deployed to the Persian Gulf via a commercial flight for Operation Desert Shield. During a briefing with Lieutenant Colonel Kaczynski, the battalion commander, they are tasked with capturing the target known as Saddam Hussein, with the defense of the oil fields being their main objective. The unit is then transported to their operational base, where the Marines are instructed to hydrate, wait, scout the area, and acclimate to the arid climate, even though they are eager to engage in combat. Training in their gas suits under the blazing desert sun, they find themselves 62 days into their deployment. Several Marines are troubled by the thought that their partners back home might be unfaithful during their extended deployment. A board displaying photos of women who have severed their romantic ties with unit members is prominently showcased for all to see. Field reporters are busy interviewing the Marines to delve into their locations, personal lives, and experiences while serving in Saudi Arabia. Despite the sweltering 112-degree heat, Sykes insisted that his team play American football in their NBC uniforms, wanting the field reporters to witness their performance under such extreme conditions. As the cameras rolled, the game turned into a raucous dogpile, with some Marines playfully mimicking suggestive actions. Frustrated by his platoon's lack of decorum and discipline, Sykes ordered the cameras and crew to leave the scene. As a form of punishment, the Marines were tasked with building and then dismantling a massive pyramid made of sandbags in the rain later that evening. After enduring their harsh punishment, the squad returned to camp to find letters from their loved ones. Swofford received a letter from his girlfriend, Christina, revealing that she has a new friend. This news sparked suspicions in Swofford's mind that his fiancée might be cheating or on the verge of doing so. The most embarrassing incident, however, befell Detman, who discovered that a seemingly innocent VHS copy of the deer Hunter sent by his wife was actually a homemade adult film featuring her with their neighbor. This was apparently a response to Detman's own infidelities, and the men gathered to watch the tape. Fergus, a member of Swofford's unit, accidentally ignited a fire during their spontaneous Christmas celebration, which quickly spread to a tent and a box of flares. Swofford, who was supposed to be on watch, allowed Fergus to take his place and is held accountable for the incident. As a result, he is demoted from lance corporal to private and forced to endure the degrading task of burning waste. This punishment, combined with the oppressive heat and monotony, pushes Swofford to the brink of a mental breakdown. His distress is exacerbated by doubts about his girlfriend's fidelity and a profound sense of isolation, leading him to lash out at Fergus, even contemplating using his weapon against him. After a prolonged battle in the desert, the coalition forces launched Operation Desert Strom, sending the Marines to the border of Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. To prevent any negative effects from the impending attack, each member of the crew was given a PB pill to counteract potential nerve agents, shielding them from the chemical fallout of the bombs and weaponry. Meanwhile, the team began digging their shelters in anticipation of the assault. Just before the action commenced, Swofford learns from Sykes that Troy had concealed his criminal history when he joined the military and would face dismissal once the conflict ended. Subsequently, Troy receives a USMC brand on his legs. Due to an accidental airstrike by friendly forces, the Marines are now moving through the desert without facing any ground opposition. U.S. vehicles risk becoming targets of friendly fire from an A-10 close air support aircraft, which could lead to civilian casualties. The troops advance along the highway of death, strewn with charred bodies and the remains of vehicles set ablaze during the bombing campaign. Eventually, the Marines encounter burning oil wells ignited by retreating Iraqis. They attempt to dig makeshift sleeping holes despite the rain of crude oil pouring down. Before they can take action against the enemy, Sykes orders the squad to move to a spot where the wind will protect them from the oil deluge. While Swoff is busy digging new sleeping holes, he discovers that Fowler has desecrated an Iraqi corpse, which infuriates him to the point of wanting to confront Fowler. However, he ultimately chooses to simply remove and bury the body instead. In the end, Swofford and Troy receive a mission involving combat. They are tasked with eliminating 2 Iraqi officers believed to be hiding in a damaged control tower at an airport. The duo positions themselves within a deserted building, but just as Swofford focuses on one of the officers through his scope, another group of Marines appears and calls for an airstrike. Desperate for a chance to secure a kill, Troy pleads with the commanding officer, portrayed by Dennis Haysbert, to let them take the shot. When his requests go unanswered, Troy descends into despair and begins to weep. Moments later, American aircraft start bombarding the airport. Lost in a daze, Swofford and Troy lose track of time and miss their extraction. As night descends, they venture into the desert but soon find themselves disoriented. The chilling sounds of distant screams fill the air, and upon realizing the cries are coming from beyond a hill, they ready their weapons and prepare to investigate. Approaching what they think is an enemy camp, they are relieved to discover it's their own base, filled with fellow Marines. They learn that the war has come to an end, prompting a celebration around a bonfire. Among the crowd, Swofford confides in Troy about never having fired his weapon, to which Troy encourages him, saying, "You can do it now." Swofford then empties his sniper rifle into the night sky, inspiring other Marines, who also have yet to fire their weapons, to join in. The film concludes with the soldiers beginning their journey home. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure.